Suspect anything when you had heard about, how did you hear that she got killed?
My mom brought me the New York Times the next morning.
Okay. Okay.
And she says, "Don't you know this girl?" I was like, "Yes, I do."
And what did you think when you read that? Before you even met up with them?
I just freaked out. The whole... It was, you have to understand, I had never seen anything or heard anything like this. No one had ever, at this point in time, in terms of a friend, had suffered anything like this.
Okay.
I lived in, neighborhoods that were kind of tough, but no one had ever been, that I knew, had ever been killed. I know kids and family members that had been beaten up or shot, but no, never killed.
Right. So they said to you, we've achieved one of our, according to some of the things that you had said, we've achieved one of our fantasies.
Yes. Yes.
We got her caveman style.
Exactly. And I didn't even, at that point, I didn't want to ask any questions because I was afraid for myself, and I already knew.
You knew who they were talking about?
I knew exactly who they were talking about.
Who were they talking about?
They're talking about Martha Moxley.
Okay. Who would say this before, a month before? Who would say this constantly you wanted to get?
Oh, Adolf.
Adolf.
Yes.
And so now after the murder, the two of them are saying...
They were bragging. They're bragging about it.
We got her
but
caveman style.
It was always, they would take me to the limit and never mention the name. But I mean, come on.
Okay,
There were no other...
say? What other things did they say? I mean, as far as doing what to this woman?
We grabbed her. We got her.
Okay. That's all right. Take your time. Whatever you can remember.
You have to understand, for so long I tried to just... As a teenager, I wanted to run away from this. Mm-hmm. And as an adult, I tried to block it out. Okay. Because I felt that it wasn't my place.
Through all those early years, why didn't you come forward to anybody?
For one thing, I was afraid of being automatically pinned in as a suspect. My family didn't have money to defend me from a lawsuit that, it'd be easy. If they could convict Michael Skakel on circumstantial evidence, I think I would be an easier conviction than Michael.
Why?
I didn't have the resources to defend myself.
Okay. Okay.
And Michael's family has much more resources than mine.
So that they admitted to taking a girl caveman style, and the definition that they always gave you and that you understood it to be was with a club,
by force, dragging off,
and dragging the girl off by her hair.
That's correct.
Okay. And you do realize that's how Martha was killed.
If I told you that I never wanted to know.
Okay.
That's how panicked I was. I didn't want to know.
Okay.
I've never, to this day, I've never looked at any autopsy reports. I've never read any books, any magazine articles. I don't want to know.
Okay. Was this brought up any other times?
It's brought up a couple more times, and you have to understand, after that, I was trying to create distance.
Okay.
I was trying to create distance because my life had turned around. I had gotten a scholarship to go to a prep school in Texas.
Okay.
To do what I wanted to do with my life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just started creating distance, but they would, bring up, they would laugh about it. Hey, when's the last time, you saw your favorite Flintstone character do the Wilma and the great, oh gosh, there was a term that they would use, to grab Wilma. Okay. And they made a joke out of it, and I didn't think it was funny, and so I stopped hanging out with them slowly but surely, and as things sort of dissipated, I just dropped off.
Okay. Even though they never mentioned Martha's name to you?
I knew who it was.
You knew who it was?
I mean,
do you believe in all your heart that they killed her that night?
I think that they were there.
Okay.
I think that...
Well, we know they were there.
Oh, no. There's no... No, they were there when the murder took place.
Okay, now what does that mean, though? You have to explain that to me.
See, there's another party that we really don't talk about, and he had fear in his heart, and that was Jeff Burns.
Right, definitely.
He had made mention to me several occasions that, you know, something bad happened, these were bad guys, and was, you know, he was sort of reaching out to me to help him, and I said, Jeff, I can't do anything to help you. What am I going to do?
Right.
What am I going to do? What do you know that I don't know?
Right.
And I tried to bait him, and...
Was this after the murder?
It was after the murder. He's like, just Tony, you got to stay clear of they're bad guys.
Okay.
They're going to get you...
Meaning Adolph and Burr?
Yes.
Okay, and what did he say about that? They're going to what?
They're going to get you in trouble, and they're already in trouble. You just need to keep your distance.
Did Adolph and Burr stay in Belhaven that night?
Yes, they did. They stayed with the Burns.
They did?
Yes.
You know that for a fact?
I know that for a fact. You could stay at their house and they would never know, though.
Okay.
The parents would never know.
Okay.
It was a huge
They
house.
told you they stayed there?
Yes.
They did.
And Jeff told me that they'd also spent the night that night.
Okay. So Jeff told you that they stayed there, and Adolph and Burr told you they stayed in Belhaven at the Burns house.
That's correct.
Okay, I'm just trying
Before I left, they were like, I said, what are you guys going to do? Well, we're going to stay at the Burns. Okay, I'm out. Bye. See you.
Okay. So do you believe that they killed her? Either the two of them or possibly...
I think they were definitely involved.
Okay. Adolph and Burr?
Yes, there's no doubt in my mind that they were involved.
Do you think anybody else would have been involved with them at all?
I think there could have been other witnesses, but I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But I'm
But they
positive.
did say to you, we've accomplished what we wanted to do. We satisfied our...
Satisfied our caveman urge.
Our caveman urge.
Yes.
And we got a girl and we took her caveman style.
That's correct.
They said this before they wanted to do it.
They said it had been building up to that. I mean, this was like I mean, come on, it's like you and I talking about if we're in the middle of a desert having a glass of water. I sure would like a glass of water.
Right. You started breaking away from the two of them after this murder.
Oh, immediately.
Why? Because of this murder?
Because of the murder, because of their, they're unpredictable. I mean, I could tell you all kinds of stories about being in the subway and all the crazy stuff that used to take place, and it's just, it was too much.
You've never had any other contact with them throughout the years?
None whatsoever.
And none of them have reached out to you?
No.
At all? And
Never.
you've had no reason to want to...
None at all.
They were obsessed with Martha Moxley.
Adolph was.
Adolph was.
But
Starting...
Bird put him up, he would fuel fire.
Okay.
I mean, because anybody else, if I would have, if it would have just have been Adolph and I would have said, you know what, you're wasting your time.
Okay.
Forget about her.
Right.
Forget about her. There's other girls here. Forget
But
about
Burr would...
Bird, no, you can do it.
Okay.
You can get her.
Okay, so the talk before the murder, and like you said, it really built to a crescendo, okay, of we're going to get a girl caveman style,
That's correct.
okay? After Martha's murder, well, that night, they did say they were going to get a girl caveman style. It was one of the reasons why you also left them as well as your mother.
Yeah, but the most important part was, and I'm not trying to be,
Yeah, no.
it's my mother, because that's my,
No, that's fine.
that's my guiding force.
That's fine. But walking around with the club, whether it was Jeff Burns and the two of them, the comment was, we're going to get a girl tonight,
Oh, yeah,
the night of the murder.
the night of the murder.
Okay, and then right after the murder, when you met up with both Adolph and Burr, they told you we did it.
We did it. We achieved our fantasy.
We achieved our fantasy, we got the girl caveman style, and even though they didn't mention Martha Moxley's name,
I knew.
you knew right away, because that's all the talk was before.
I mean,
They didn't have to
was
say
it.
her
You didn't
name.
have to say. It's I'm gonna rob the First National Bank.
Right.
On Friday, the First National Bank is robbed.
And they say,
Hey, we did it. We did it.
We did it.
We
right.
did it. They just don't
Okay.
mention the First National Bank.
And you were freaked out for a long time because of that.
Very much so. Very much so.
Okay. All right, now let me ask you this, Tony. No one has offered you anything by coming forward and giving this statement.
Not at all.
All right. Neither myself, this is the first time myself or Al have met you, right?
That is correct.
We've talked on the phone once or twice. I did not promise you anything to give to you to give a statement of this nature.
That is correct.
And no one in the Skakel family or connected with the Skakel family has offered you anything to give this statement.
That is correct.
You've come forward out of your own free will.
Not. Trust me, I really don't want to get involved in this, but yes, I did.
Okay. You told me, though, that you felt an innocent man was in jail.
That is true.
And you needed the truth to come out, is that right?
I wanted my story to come out, and I believe it is the truth, and it should be something that that hopefully...
You believe that 100%?
Swear to God.
Okay, okay. Did you contact Bobby Kennedy yourself?
No, I did not.
It was done through Crawford Mills?
Crawford spoke to Bob Kennedy, and the first 3 or 4 times that he called me, I didn't take his call.
Okay. So you're saying to me then basically, even though you know the truth of this crime, you're not looking for the limelight?
I don't want it. I'm not interested in any publicity. I don't want to be involved in this at all. I'm not interested in 15 minutes or 15 years of fame. I'm interested in the preservation of my family and trying to take care of my kids, my family.
But you do feel the wrong person is in jail for this?
I definitely know that to be true.
Do you feel that Bert Tinsley and Adolph Hasbrouck should be in jail for this?
I think that they had involvement in this. I know that there's no statute of limitations, so one or both should be serving time for this.
Okay. And this is something, let me just finish with asking you this. Why should I believe you after all this time?
There's no reason for you to believe me. All I have is a story to tell. I was there. I knew all the parties. Having watched the police and all the just terribly missed, I mean, this was, to me, it was an easy pull in everybody and see what falls out. They didn't pull in everybody.
Right.
And when you have suspects that have been described by other people, seeing them walk around in Belhaven and the police not following up and prosecutors not following up, it sort of makes you kind of weary. They've had the evidence, they just never took the time to try. They had all just beat it in on that one family.
Right.
And unfortunately for him, he had a bullseye on him, and based on the evidence that they had, they were able to convict him. But he's not guilty.
Right.
He may have been guilty of a lot of things, but
right.
You know, he's not guilty of this. He's guilty of poor judgment.
Right.
But you know, I'm not his judge nor his jury.
Right.
So why should you believe me? I was there. I know who was there. I know what the atmosphere was. People still don't understand what was going on in Greenwich at the time. There was a lot of drugs, a lot of drinking by underage minors.
Right.
And you had outsiders coming in that were volatile. And you mix those things together with, you know, there's no supervision, you're going to have, something's going to happen.
Okay.
And do I feel responsible? Yes and no. I feel responsible that I need to come forth and give my statement. I didn't goad anybody into doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
My mistake in judgment is not, I mean, I sat on this story the whole time during the trial because there's no way we ever thought that Michael Skaker would get convicted.
Okay.
No way.
Two individuals, again, Adolph Hasbrouck, Bert Tinsley. The whole caveman bit that you explained to me was accomplished that night.
From what I was told, yes.
They told you this before the murder. They were going to do this up to the night of the murder before you said your goodbye to them. And then a few days later when you caught up with them again, we've achieved our fantasy. We got the girl caveman style.
That's correct.
And again, the caveman style, I'll just wrap up with this, is club in the hand, attacking a girl, and dragging her away like a caveman.
That is correct.
Okay. Is that all correct? I'm not trying to put any words in
You're
your
not
mouth.
putting any words in my mouth. Those are statements that I've made.
And before we started this videotape, neither myself or Al told you anything to say or how to say it.
That is correct.
Okay, everything you've told is of the truth.
That is,
So help you God.
So help me God. To the best of my knowledge, those are the things that took place during that time period.